Hi everyone, welcome to another Hatton's Model Railway SkillsCast, where I show you some of the easy, fun skills that you can learn to enhance your model railways and any layouts you're building. Today, we're taking a look at two methods of adding static grass to your layout. This is often seen as one of the really tricky skills in model railways, but with these two simple but different methods, you'll be adding grass that looks like an expert addition in absolutely no time at all. I'll be showing you some of the different methods that you can use today, the tools that you do need to have to do that. And if you have any questions, please do ask them in the chat and I will answer them throughout the stream too. So I know this is one a lot of you have been waiting for, so I hope you enjoy and learn something. So if we're looking at adding static grass to the layout, where do we start? I'd really encourage a look at just what range of static grass items we have available. And I've put a link in the description with the full range that we have right now. You'll see a lot of different styles of static grass, a lot of different lengths. The good news is 99% of it is compatible. So if you want to mix the different brands, you do get different colors, different sizes, and you may find that ideal color for you is available in one range, and then maybe for a different part of your layout, you want to look at some of the others. In most cases, they either come in bags or boxes or tubs that we have here. We have mainly the range from Hornby, Woodland Scenics, Pico's range, and the Model Scenes Scenics too. But all the skills I'm showing you here today, you use the same skills for every style of static grass that we have. It's just the length of the fibers, which can make longer or shorter looking grass, or the color of the actual static grass itself. You can see there's quite a few different shades that I've got here for you today. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Let's really get stuck in. And as ever, I've got my up close and personal detail camera here, so we can watch very close up when I'm doing the different detail pieces. So if you're looking at doing this on a budget, if you really want to get a lot of grass onto your layout, but you don't want to spend too much, you can do that. And you are looking at using the puffer bottle that you see here. It's really easy to use. Again, you can use it with any of the static grass ranges that we have. So all we're going to be doing with this is literally puffing the static grass onto our layout. But we need to do something before that. The static grass needs to have something to stick onto. So I'm going to be using the static grass glue that we sell. This is the Hornby variation, but we do it from a couple of other brands. This is the R183, and this is different. Sorry, the R7183, actually, missed a number there. But this differs from normal white glue in that it takes a little bit longer to dry. So if you're doing larger patches of static grass, this really is ideal for you because you can put down more glue and not have to worry about doing a little bit at a time. So we'll get an old paintbrush, or if you've got an old brush of any sort, it's absolutely perfect for this. The glue is water-based, so you can wash it straight out afterwards under hot water too. And we'll just get a really good amount of glue on there. I'll just switch you over to the little camera that you can see. We'll just make sure that we get a really good amount of glue where we want that grass to go. So we'll just keep it in the middle of the board. But you can see there that I'm putting a really thick amount of glue down. Now, if you wanted to, you can paint the board before you put your glue onto it to either a soil texture or a grass texture to be able to fill the gaps, or if you chip it anywhere. That was a great tip from one of our previous videos. But you can also put it straight onto your board like this, as it should cover up the whole area that we wish to use. So we have our glue down now, and we have that ready. So I've preloaded our puffer bottle. You'll just see here, I'll show you the inside, that I've already put in some of our static grass. This is some of Hornby's static grass. I've put in a very small amount there, as I'll only be doing a very small area. You then apply this lid. As you can see, this all comes pre with it. And then I'll just take you away. I'll do two goes at this so you can see it. You can either shake that gently on so it starts to cover, but you'll see that a very, very small amount is coming out there at a time. So that can take quite a while. As you can see, we're finding a couple of different fibers, or you can puff with the puffer bottle, which puts it on a lot more quickly. Simply doing a puffing motion, spreading that around. I'll just bring you back to the main camera to show you that being spread, and that will then cover the glued area. So immediately there we're getting a good grass covering, and we'll continue that until that is covered. As you can see, it does go on to further parts of the layout too, not just where you've glued. So do make sure you've got a small vacuum cleaner or something to hand just to clear around where you are putting the static grass. So we'll just finish that off, and we've got a pretty decent covering there. Now, with this glue in particular, Ono, you don't need a second layer. You can put one on if you want, but this particular glue is just the one layer for you to cover, so you don't need a second glue if you don't need it. And David, I will be getting to the electric version on the second half of this video, so sit tight for that. But right now, we have covered our little area to start off with static grass. So we've used a very small, very fine static grass there. The different numbers on the names give the length of the grass fibers. So these go from 0.2 up to about 6 or 7 millimeters in length. And there are some longer ones out there, but I'll just tip that off so we lose some of the excess. If you are putting this on your model railway, you can use a vacuum cleaner to do something similar, but you'll find there now that we can tip that up with absolutely no issue. That has stuck down, and then we'd use a smaller brush or a vacuum cleaner to remove some of the residue around the sides. So a top tip to give you there, I've only used one particular colour here. I've only used Hornby's static grass and one colour of it. You can mix two different colours in the bottle. You can put two different colours on at separate times if you wish, and that really will break you up when it comes to the colours too. So I strongly would recommend picking up a couple of different but complementary colours and then mixing them in, and you can add them on too. So that's how we get the model done on a budget. As you'll see, the grass is pretty flat, but it does give us great coverage. We've only used a puffer bottle there, and you can see that there's not many gaps at all. If we spent a couple more minutes, we'd certainly fill some of those gaps in the more patchy areas. But that to me is certainly looking like the start of a field or a line side embankment. Richard, if you are looking at doing a path, simply leave off the glue where you want to put a path. So if you had a path going down the middle, you'd just glue, let's say, either side as per so. And then once you spread it down, you'd remove the glue in the middle, and then you could put down ballast or paint in a path should you wish. So you can really add that on. And Kelly, this exactly can be used for snow too. You can put different materials in the puffer bottle, not just the static grass that it is recommended for, but you can use some of the snow scatter or the other scatters in there too. It won't work quite as good, I've got to be honest with you. It is designed for the static grass, but do have a bit of a look and check that out. So that's where we've got started with now. As you can see, we have made a little bit of a mess. So as David says there, do have a vacuum cleaner to hand to suck up any of the excess that we have left around. But as some of you have anticipated, we're going to take a look at the electric version as well. This is a little bit more expensive, but this can give you some really dynamic features on your layout. You can make it look really good with sticking up grass, large grass, long grass, etc., etc. So I will get my second board ready. And we start this in exactly the same way as we did with our puffer bottle. So we'll get our glue, and again, we'll get a really good amount of glue on there, making sure we've got a good furrow coverage. This glue does dry completely clear, as do all the static grass glue that we sell. So you can either put down a little bit of paint beforehand, or if you felt confident, you can mix some of the paint into the glue too. So we'll just do a nice circle there today. Probably about the same size as what we did on the original board. You have got quite a few minutes before this fully dries as well, so you don't need to rush. As long as you keep yourself calm, you've got a few minutes where you're able to play with this. So this is where we're going to change. This is where it's going to get a little bit different, and we're going to bring on our electric static grass machine. This is the Gauge Master version, but there are others available, including the models from Pico. So check those out. Again, all the links are available on the description. And this works in a slightly different way, so we need to do a little bit of preparation for our layout. As what we're going to do is we are going to electrify the glue and the static grass fibers so they will stand up on impact. So if you have a little nail to hand, you can use a track pin for this too. We're just going to put that right in the center of where we want it and just make sure that is firmly secured as per so. Just make sure we've got a little bit of glue around the bottom of that also. We will be taking it out before the end, don't you worry, but now we are ready to go. So I will just put in our track cleaner, which as you can see, I've already used a little bit. These have 3 different size tops, whether you're using some of the finer fillings or not. And I'm going to use some of our Model Scene Scenics fibers, as these are quite long. I'm going to use the 6.5mm. These should give us a really nice standing up effect. So we'll open the bag and we'll just pour a little bit into there to get us ready. And then there is a little bit of a messy bit here now. I'll just show you on the little camera. You just need to make sure that that gets a good consistent layer inside there, covering up all of the bottom. It's a little hard to show you, but you can see that there's gaps on the bottom. We just need to move that around with our fingers just to make sure that is completely free and broken up, ready for the application. Now, these have a 9-volt battery included, which we've already put in and turned on. So we'll put our cover back on. And we are just about ready to go. There's just one last thing we need to do. And that is clip on the electric connection to the wire. So what this will do is connect the battery inside the static grass machine onto the system, and then that will connect and electrify the glue and also electrify the inside of the container. So we have the resistance and that will then stand up too. So let's get on with it. Let's get started. I'll transfer you back to the little camera so you can see this in action. So turn it on, give it a couple of seconds to get started. And all you do then is gently shake that on. So just really gently there, and you'll see that starting to come on. But you'll also see that it is starting to stand up too. It's not just a flat finish. It is starting to stand up. So you can shake that around. And again, just make sure you get a really good coverage of the different areas that you've got. And that then will have a different finish to what we have on this side, as that then results in a non-flat finish. I'll just stop it there, and then we'll turn off our machine, just making sure we're taking that away rather gently, as it may still be electrically live. So we have a similar finish, but as you can see just about there, a lot of the fibers are standing up. It's quite hard to pick up on the camera, but there's certainly a heightened finish on there. So that gives a more realistic grassy finish, especially with the long grass that we've used there. We've used the, can't quite remember where I've put it, but we've used the 6.5mm long fibers, which are all standing up. So that's a great effect for some of the longer grass that you can have out there. So we have some of the shorter fibers that we used here. This is ideal for gardens and lawns and that sort of thing. But if you want a more wild look, do have a look at the electronic version of this, because you can get that finish there where you have the larger standing static grass. Again, to finish off then, you would just quickly hoover around the edges where the glue isn't. If you did want to have any different effects, just leave the glue where you don't want it, such as a path or similar, but you can see that that brushes very easily away, and it will also come away with a vacuum cleaner, but then it leaves just the area that we have put in there today, with quite a wild little grass effect on there. So they're the two main ways. There's a lot of skills that are the same in there, using the glue to get a good base. Really make sure you get a good thick base on there. As you can see underneath me here, it disappears once you've covered it with the static grass. You don't need to add a second glue layer to that. You will find that one is sufficient. If you wanted to, you can find various scenic spray glues on our website. Again, if you click that link in the description. Ian, I would recommend, if you can, putting the nail towards the middle, just so you've got the even amount of the electricity flowing through there. You can have it towards the edge if you wish, but I really would recommend, if you're doing a good patch of grass like that, putting it in the middle if you can. And you can just use any nail you like for that. If you have a couple of nails lying around the house, or you have some track pins to hand, as long as it is metal, you can put it in there and that will do the trick. And then finally, when we're finishing off, we've already vacuumed up our edges there, so we really settle that in. And then we've cleaned the layout as well. Just to clean these, it's really, really easy. As long as you make sure it's turned off, just a wipe inside and out will remove any of the static grass residue from what you have. So you can put that straight down on there. If we're cleaning out the puffer bottle and you're using the puffer bottle from the first half of our video, you can just put this in some soapy water and rinse it through. Of course, the various static grasses come in their own little bags, so you can tie them up and put them away until next time you need them. And the glue that we have comes in its own container, as we can see here. So we'll just put the lid back on that at the end of the show, as we will do now. And that is then done and dusted. So we've finished. We've got two selections of static grass there. We've either got the high version, and I'll just take the nail out of that. So you can see there, this is the version which we use the electric static grass cleaner with. So the fibers have actually stood up and given a real wild grass effect. And then towards the start of the stream, we use the puffer bottle, which is a great budget option. This doesn't quite have the same effect as the electric, so you will get a flatter finish, as you can see here. But this is really ideal if you are a modeler on a budget, or you're using flatter grass, such as a lawn or gardens, as you can see there. Everything you see on today's stream, everything you see in front of me, and what I've used is available to order right now. And Sandeep, that includes the glue as well. We do have the specific static grass glue, which I'll put on the little screen for you now. This is Hornby's variation, the SkillsCast model railway glue for grass. It's also great for ballast and scatter as well, so you can use that for a different system. If you did want to check those out, there's full links in the description. You can use all the different brands with each other as well. The different static grass glues work together. The static grass applicators we've got available from Gagemaster and Pico. The different static grasses, if you want the different colours and the finishes, I really would recommend mixing and matching quite a few of the different ranges, so you have different lengths of grass and different colours in there, making for a really, really realistic looking scene. But you can use this for a huge amount of different things in there. You can build up your embankments on the side of the railway. You can have a riverbank scene with the longer grass. The ends of the imagination really are up to you. You can use this for many, many different ways for adding realistic scenery to your layout. And hopefully I've shown you just how easy it is to do. Laying static grass is something that a lot of people are quite intimidated by. It can look quite complex, but either with the basic puffer bottle or indeed the electric static grass applicators that we do have. So you can do either option there and you'll get a great image from both variations. And Ian, unfortunately, taking the grass off, it's a little bit harder than finding a scale lawnmower. If you did want to remove it, you can take it off with a chisel or something along those lines. Now, the only thing to bear in mind with that is it may leave some of the residue underneath, so make absolutely certain that what you're putting down is the best way to do it. But have a look at what we've got available. Everything you see right here now is available via that link in the description. Do take a look at the various ranges. Just to cover again, there's a couple of questions coming through regarding the glue, and Trains at York has it absolutely spot on. There are some glues out there that you can get that are more readily available, but these are specifically formulated for being used with the static grass, so they can handle the electrolysis that happens, and also they stay a lot wetter for a lot longer, so you can cover the larger ranges. So do have a look at these specific glues. I really would recommend, even if you wanted to save a few pounds by buying some of the cheaper glue out there, do pick up some of the specific glue and the static grasses for these items, as you really will see a difference in the finish that you get. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'm going to disappear to clean up my desk, but do check that link out in the description for more information on all the static grass range that we stock, the equipment you'll need, some of the tools that we have available for that as well. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed today's SkillsCast video. We've got many more like this on our website and our YouTube and Facebook pages, so make sure to like and subscribe to those for more great content like this. Otherwise, thanks again for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the session. If you have any more questions, please do put them in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.